have some fun because today I am going to be building a PC. More specifically, this is the first PC I built in about 13 years. Now, in my teenage years, I used to toy around with building computers, but if we're going to be honest, none of them were really ever built to last. They all kind of died out around the year mark, and I thought this would be a cool little challenge for me to see if I could finally do it right this time. Now, what have I been using over the last 13 years? Well, I've been on that laptop game. More specifically, right after my last PC died, I bought an HP Envy touchscreen laptop. Beautiful screen, but the chassis on that started to break. So, more recently, over the last 6 years, I've had an HP Omen 17 that I bought back in 2018. Now, that system has really done well over the last 6 years, but I feel like it's just losing its ability to hold up in the modern era. Now, when we talk about the hardware in that machine, I have a 500 gigabyte SSD in there, a 2 terabyte hard drive, just for space. It came with an i7 7700HQ processor and an AMD RX 580. And I tell you, that 580's really held its own over the last couple years, even playing more modern games like Halo Infinite. But certain games that I've been trying to play recently, they just either take forever to load, they stutter, and that system also has 16 gigs of RAM, so it should really be holding up. But let's build something new, something more modern, and let's talk about the parts that I got for this build. Because I went up to Micro Center, and they had some amazing deals on a bundle of a motherboard, some RAM, and the processor. So for the motherboard, I got a Gigabyte B650 Gaming AX V2. For the processor, where did it go? Oh, it's right here. I picked up an AMD Ryzen 7700XT processor. This is an AM5 processor, so with the board also being AM5, it kind of is upgrade proof for a little bit. Turns out I really like 7700 processors because my i7 was almost named adequately exactly the same. And this bundle also came with 32 gigabytes of Ripjaw S5 RAM. This should be DDR5. Yes, it is. And this should be more than enough to really have a little bit of a productivity load to it, as well as gaming and anything else I want to do with this system. Now, you might be wondering what I got for the graphics card. Well, I went with a little bit of a controversial card. And I picked up an AMD Radeon RX 7600XT. I say controversial because there's a lot of reviews out there that are just bashing this card because it's not really there in terms of it only being an upgraded version of the 7600. It's not that much different from the previous generation 6600. And people were saying the price doesn't really adequate to what they were charging for it, but I did get this on a sale for about $300. It is a 16 gig card, it has 3 fans, and I figured because I'm updating from a RX 580, this will be a substantial upgrade anyway. And for my SSD, I picked up a Samsung 99 EVO 2 terabyte drive. This was on sale from Amazon recently. I have to admit, this is what kind of jump-started the whole building process because this was on sale for like $125, marked down from like $180, and I figured if I bought this, I might as well just start looking for the other parts. I saw that deal at Micro Center. I saw a deal on a 750 watt power supply as well as cooling system, and also a deal on the case I ended up buying. Now this case is a little mysterious to me because I can't find much information on it. And this is an MSI Gungnir 111R. Now, it is advertised on MSI's website. It does have some cool features, and it is like a full-size case, and it also has some I/O, including USB 3 and USB-C up top. It has some RGB fans, I suppose. It has a hard drive bay in here. And I was looking at the wires on this thing yesterday, and I know this is going to be a fun build because I got very confused by these wires and where they're supposed to go. I'm hoping when I put the motherboard in, everything just starts to make sense. And with that being said, let's get this all unwrapped, let's start, and let's hope everything goes well. Alright, so I have the motherboard unboxed, and this thing looks like a beast. Look at that I/O, all those USB ports. We have a DisplayPort HDMI. What do we got? Seven USB ports and a USB-C. Some line in. Old PS2 port for combo mouse/keyboard. But the board itself looks beautiful. So I think the first thing we should do, because I'm going to follow these instructions instead of screwing something up, is the instructions say the first thing to do, step one, is to install the CPU and cooler. Now, with that, we're going to want to get the cooler out. And, you know, this motherboard, interestingly enough, came with some little bags of screws, which aren't really mentioned what they're used for. And also an actual, like, SATA cable, which, like, I'm all for if I decide to just transfer my 2 terabyte drive there for, like, musical storage and all that, which I might do because I do have hard drive enclosures in the case. Now, there's the fan. Here's this big heat sink. Now, I don't remember heat sinks being this big when I used to make computers when I was a kid. This thing is ginormous, but I probably also didn't use a heat sink when I was a kid, which is probably why my PCs died so quickly. You know, it's all about being truthful here to myself and to you guys watching this to prove that I really might be unsure about what I'm doing here. Now, installation guide. It should have came with brackets, which I guess are in here. I do have a screwdriver out. So from what I saw online is we're going to need to take these brackets out here that are on top of the board. Like these things right over here. We're going to need to take those out in order to screw on the new clamp. But none of that matters because unless we have the CPU in there, it just won't work because there won't be a CPU. So let's open up this box. Now it's interesting because I've yet to play around with the newer Ryzens. The last AMD processor I had was on an old HP laptop, and it was an HP Radeon dual core. And before that, my first laptop, which was a Gateway, had an AMD Sempron. So that should age me a little bit with how old my devices were when the last time I used AMD was. My last 2 laptops both had i7s of their time. So, you know, going to a Ryzen 7 just kind of seems like a great bet, especially because I know AMD is killing it in like the processor game these days versus what they were when I had my Radeon dual core. I never understood how to say that processor's name correctly, if we're being honest. So, we got the processor out. Does it have anything else in the box? Installation instructions. I'm really thankful that all these things have instructions. This seems simple enough. Or does it? Is that like a sticker? Just for the processor? Like what is this thing? I don't think it comes out though, so we're just gonna leave it. And it looks like we have to open up this socket, lift it up a little bit. If I can figure out how to do that. Okay. Now, from what I know is that if this socket is put in correctly, if this is put in correctly, it should pop the top off of like this little plastic piece, should just rip off. Or does it say how to install it? Alright, so let's try to just put it in there Nice. Now we don't want to bend any of the pins, so it should just, I think, fall in there nice. That arrow is in the top left, matches the other arrow. It's a little wobbly. I don't know if I like that. I think I had it in there better the first time. Wait, did I bend pins? I don't think so. We're gonna try to put it in. Let's see what happens. I'm afraid to put this in. Let's check that one more time, because I feel like that should be going down a lot smoother. There we go. That should be in there now. Now this should just lock. Alright, cool. So that came off. I guess that's a good sign. Hopefully that's in there. I mean, it seems like it would be fine. Now, what we probably want to do is take these brackets off. I don't know if I need to save those screws, but I'm going to hopefully do that just in case. I'm expecting at this point an error for that CPU just because it seems like there might be, based on the way that board was. Now, we're going to want to put just a little bit of thermal paste on this processor. I'm going to do this that I've seen in a lot of videos. I don't know if it's good or bad to do it that way, but we're going to hopefully keep it that way. You know, sometimes too much thermal paste I know will affect performance, but that seems decent enough. Where are my instructions now for the cooler? So, no, that's for the board, so that's fine. Let's see. We are all about reading here, just to see, you know, how this works. All about reading. So it seems straightforward. So I think just gotta find the right bracket in here. It's those, it definitely is. So the video I saw kind of makes sense. Well, look, it came with thermal paste. I didn't have to buy thermal paste. Oh well. Came with screws, and what is this last box that's in here? more kind of grommet looking things. So, for the AMD install, it looks like we gotta take the red ones, put them on top over here. So I guess they kind of act as like anchors in a way. It doesn't look like they have to go a specific way. I am waiting for myself to lose some of these screws. Alright, so they're in. Now, it's a matter of putting these brackets on. Now it looks like, why did they give me... What? It looks like they're supposed to go with this way up onto the board. This way. Okay, so that kind of makes sense. Let's start getting these things screwed in. There's a downside about being a lefty with this project because I got some thermal paste on my hands. Now I'm not going to fully tighten them just because I want to, well, I probably can actually, never mind. Disregard everything I said there. So we're going to now take this other one . Okay, so that's in. Now it says to do that, and then I guess it says to... I guess it goes like that. It doesn't say what these other two brackets are for, and that's what's confusing me. Why is this not? Am I supposed to do something with these last two brackets, maybe? As I drop the things for the fan. So let's see. So, remove AMD plastic retention frame, keep the back plate, put standoff on and secure AMD bracket with the screws. Apply thinly, then secure the heatsink. Probably should have done this like one way then the other. Definitely got it on the one side. Did I get it on this? No, it's not. Let's turn the board. That'll help, right? Oh, it definitely was on there. This is a lot harder than it seems. But I guess it's trying to get tension, right? The question is, how is this not? There we go. A little pressure, I guess, helps, right? Had to use my hands instead of a screwdriver. I guess you want to screw this all the way down. I can only imagine how much I maneuvered that thermal paste. Alright, now that that's secure, we gotta put the fan on somehow. Does it say how to do the fan? Bracket install. Tell you, my chair makes a lot of weird noises. I feel like this fan install should be like relatively simple. Oh, look at that. I got freaking thermal paste where the RAM is. Oh no. Probably isn't my best bet to clean it that way. Alright, I'm gonna have to go get some kind of cleaning strip to possibly clean that out somehow. That is probably gonna be a problem at some point. Alright, so basically it looks like it's supposed to go like this and kind of just like snap in. To this like middle area of, oh, so it kind of just goes in there. Alright, so that makes sense. Now we got to plug in the fan cable, which would then go all the way over here. But it's not going in all the way. That slot is labeled CPU fan. So alright, so the camera battery died, so we're now shooting using the phone, and it kind of looks like the phone might be a little bit better quality. But, okay, so we found where the fan cable goes, which is right there. So we're going to want to route this in a way where it's not, like, in the way, I guess. with that being said, I might as well put the RAM in now just to get it in there. I did kind of mess up some of the slots, like I mentioned, with that thermal paste. Oops. But it's only on the top, and like the RAM gets read from the inside, so I believe, right? So it might not be awful. And with, you know, going for a dual channel setup, I might be able to use some of the cleaner area. Now, let's take a look. This RAM, this Ripjaw G-Skill, some heavy duty RAM. This looks nice. So, we're gonna want to do, I guess, you know, help if I put it in the right way. Slot 1 and slot 3 to get that dual channel configuration. Open that up a little bit. Is it gonna go in? It's backwards, it looks like. There we go, snapped into place. Now slot 3. There we go. That's in. Now, so we got the CPU hopefully out of the way. I really hope this thing boots. I think I might have bent some pins. I hope not. We're just throwing stuff on the ground now just to clean up some space. I'm not going to need this, because these are the ones if I were to be installing an Intel CPU. I think that's what those brackets are for as well. That's that, that's that. I'm going to throw all this stuff back in this box for now. Not that it matters to you guys, but, you know, just to keep you in the loop. Now, according to the Gigabyte multilingual manual, once we get that in, and then install the RAM, prepare the case and the motherboard. So it looks like it's almost, yeah, it looks like it's time to throw this bad boy in the case that I have over here. So we're gonna move some things over and then go from there. All right, just one thing I want to do before actually throwing this in the case is install the SSD. So that's going to go right here. It's better to pretty much get that in now so it's out of the way. One of the few things I do know about building a computer is, you know, just throw the SSD in there early. I've noticed this board doesn't seem like it came with like an I/O shield, unless this is one just kind of built in, which it kind of looks like it is. I've never seen them built in like that. But, you know, first time for everything. And clearly with this build, you can tell it seems like it's my first time for me as well. Alright, that's just the manual. Keep that SSD nice and safe. Pretty much for this, all you have to do is lift this up. Is this screwdriver going to work? Yeah, it is. It's reaching it. I thought this said that it came with multiple M.2s on this board. Is it coming up? No, it actually isn't coming up, so I have to get another screwdriver. Alright, with another screwdriver in hand, this one should work. And it does. Perfect. You know, I thought I was unscrewing this thing the whole time, and turns out, not at all. Now, you want to take this little adhesive off so it helps with the heat sink. Is there multiple? Is it just this top one? There we go. Should go in there nice.
That's to hold the PCI card. There should be a screw for this. But maybe not. Because usually these would have come with like the screw that you need. But this board seems like it only wants to hold it there. I'm wondering how this might work. Because theoretically, it'll stay if I do that. That should be fine if you screw this part down. I don't think that's going anywhere. I guess I'll tell if it decides to boot properly. I feel like I'm making a lot of mistakes with this build. But let's get the board in to the case and then we'll go from there. Alright, so I got the board kind of in place. I don't know what screws though I'm supposed to use to hold this thing down. I took out these little small ones that were in like a screw thing in the bag for the case, so let's see if they work. And they do, so I guess these are the ones I'm supposed to use. So that's what we're gonna do, and hopefully all goes well. I mean, there's 6 screw holes for this board. Because pretty much all I have to do now is install the graphics card and then just kind of hook everything up and hope that it boots. What's crazy is I don't know what's going to happen with that processor. So that's going to be fun. I keep saying that because I feel like I messed it up somehow. But, you know, at the same time, we'll see. Because maybe I didn't. I've never had to actually put a processor in recently. And I know you have to be super safe with it. So let's see if I was safe enough. You know, this is a nice board with a lot of I/O. And with that being said, I want to make sure that I have it in a way where it's going to end up working, you know? You know, the screw placement isn't something super pivotal that I need to show you guys the best view of it. I think I only have one more two more. A lot of screw holes in this board, but I guess, you know, for it to be as secure as possible, actually a couple more. I wonder if I lost this screw. I wouldn't be surprised if I did. But I only have 2 more spots anyway, so they definitely gave me extra enough. It's only 2 more spots. Last one should be right up here. Now, next thing I want to do is get to the GPU. I think I want to put the GPU in this spot. If you guys can see, it's just, I'm gonna want to open it fully and check it out. I think you guys can tell the more this goes on, the more concerned I sound. This bad boy is a beast of a card. Look at this. I hope it, yeah, it's gonna fit. So it goes fans down. Guess that kind of makes sense, but it's a little weird to me. I always thought this would go like this, but then for that matter, the board would be reversed. Dual HDMI and then also dual display port. And that makes sense if it goes this way. What these two things are down here. It's like a whole nother bunch of screws and stuff. I wonder what that's hiding. But besides the point, what we need to do is get, I guess, these two off. I wonder if I can get in there with an angle. Kind of. Well, I might be stupid. This thing can come off over here. I love how I said I might be stupid. Let's turn it this way. There's this little part here that I think I have to actually take off to get to those screws. And the screw fell in. Here, there we go. Now my thought is to get this graphics card in, and then get the power supply in. Yep, that would have put me right on top. I was wondering why they were at such a weird freaking angle. Awesome. Now, the moment of truth. Does this fit the way I want it to? Move the screws out the way and rotate this one more time for you guys to be able to see. This should, in theory, now fit right here. Is this single slot covered? Oh no, I don't need to take off the top one. I need to take off the second and third. That's weird. Alright, so let's do that. Then, realistically, I could just move this back up. It's funny that they have those spots there, but like, I don't think anything would go there. It's almost like that they just continue to include them because we used to have, I think, more PCI slots on PCs. Alright, graphics card is in. Doesn't seem like it's going anywhere, so let's lock it into place. Then I'm going to put this bracket back on. Somehow. Okay, so we got that back on. I think, is there another one that I'm missing? No, just those two. Okay, now that that's done, I guess start kind of running the wires up that go up. And these, I think, are for the fans. The biggest thing is going to be with this I/O, I swear. Let's move this up now, so you guys can kind of see the innards of this computer. Maybe that'll help me run these as well. So they're all kind of tangled, unfortunately, as well. I had this issue yesterday when I was looking at them. These are these, these are these. This power and LEDs. This power for SATA. USB. Which my USB is all the way up here. So I wonder if now I then have to move this over here and try to run it like that. Connect that up the way I hope. There we go. Okay, so that's in. Where is the board pamphlet? HD audio is right here. this is up. One of the toughest parts is always trying to figure out where this stuff goes. Is that in? Yeah, that's in. Okay, now. I'm not really sure what this is. It's like this weird cable. I have no clue. Now these are mentioned to basically go over here. Does it matter in which way? You have another header over here which looks like it might fit this thing, so let's see. Oh yes, it does fit that. Heck yeah. Alright, so now that that's in, another one down. Don't mind my big head, this graphics card is just in the way. Let's see if I can tell. Anything else is supposed to be. You know what might help, right? Is opening the PSU up and see what goes in the back of that. Alright, so you got your manuals, you got some zip ties for some cable management, got the actual power plug. Modular output cables. Okay. Okay, so these look kind of familiar to me. PCIe. Oh, there's a manual for this too. And it looks like it came with a tester, so that's kind of cool. And here is the power supply itself. There's a warning on this box that says, if the PC does not boot up or underperforming power supply, refer to motherboard's manual, unplug the power supply, remove the battery, and da-da-da. Alright, so that's a whole other thing that I might not need to worry about. Now, I should have connectors for the graphics card, I believe. It should be this, right? Or not. Okay, so CPU is listed on this. CPU. So I'm trying to open up these modular cables now. PCIe. So this is probably for the graphics card. Does it really need two? I think it needs one. Alright guys, what I'm going to do, I'm going to pause the video for now, not to bore you with me trying to figure out where things are. If something interesting comes up, I will be back. Alright guys, so little update. Even with all the wiring mishaps, I eventually figured it out. But we do have life. So what I'm going to try to do now is, of course, close this thing up, do a little bit of wire management, figure out why that bottom fan isn't coming on, but those other two are. That's kind of issues. I'm then going to install Windows and see how it goes. Alright guys, so as you can see, I do have Windows installing behind me. Surprisingly, nothing really went wrong with this build. I did have a little bit of a DRAM light going off earlier when I first hooked it up, and I thought it could have been due to me, screwing something up with that thermal paste in the footage. But surprisingly, it's working. All I had to do to fix that issue was reset the RAM, and then I started getting the BIOS. I also kind of ghetto rigged one of my old 2.5-inch hard drives into the bay. It should hopefully be good. I'm looking into buying an adapter for it. So I'm going to wait for Windows to install. I do like how this came out. I like how it's also displaying already from the graphics card versus the internal display. I have some speakers to hook up. What I'm going to do tonight, pretty much, to finish this off is just like download Steam, download DaVinci Resolve, because I want this video to actually be edited on this PC so I can kind of benchmark it a little bit with that, and then hopefully I'll get some game footage. I might hook up a secondary monitor to record that and whatnot, and then we'll see the finished product of this and see what it's like in the end game. Aside from that, it's getting kind of tired tonight. I'm ready for bed. Alright, so first game up that we're going to be trying to play is Halo Infinite. As you can see, we're going to be running this at 1080p because that's just what my monitor allows. I did unlock the frame rate, and I kind of set almost everything here up to Ultra, because I guess these are just as high as they go. So let's see how well this 7600XT runs. It's kind of funny that there's the two integrated graphics. One day I might want to test the other one, because right now here at the menus, we're getting 191 frames a second, but obviously that means nothing because it's a menu. So let me just make sure that took everything. Settings. Yeah, that's up because it's still unlocked frame rate. I'm very intrigued to see how this ends up going.
Super Fiesta.
Super Fiesta.
Outkill your opponents and claim victory.
Super smooth. They almost got me immediately. So, at 1080p Ultra, we're running at close to 130 to 140 frames per second, and as I said that, it just dipped down to around 130. But the game is running super freaking smooth. Let's see if we can get any kills or oh wow, they got me. Self-destruction. What happened there? But I do like just how nice and smooth this game is running. High graphical detail too at 1080p. I'm sure we could boost this up to like 1440 and still get around 60 frames a second. Even just going to high settings, I would probably get that very close to maybe 150 just instinctively. Got a little kill assist there, so that's kind of awesome. Another kill assist. That's 3 kill assists there, guys. Alright, so that's kind of where we're going to end with Halo. I know I hate to be just ending games like that. Alright, so next game up is Sunset Overdrive. Now, if you guys know anything about me, you know I love my classic games. And Sunset Overdrive was an Xbox One game. And I've always mostly been a PlayStation guy. So I want to see how well this runs, as if, you know, I were to have played this on the Xbox One. I am going with 1080p as well, as mentioned, but I do have unlimited frame rate, so we're going to apply the changes. I'm going to be playing this with controller, just because usually that's how I play certain games. We're going to do apply. Now, does it recognize the controller? There we go. I love how it automatically changes to like the Xbox controller scheme. So let's continue the game. I did start this a little while ago, so I haven't gotten super far in the game, but I want to see how this plays.
This guy again.
Look at that.
Okay, I can do this.
So we're up here.
Stamp up.
And literally up here on a roof, getting 158 frames a second. You know, when this game was released, it was probably getting like 60 frames a second. So it's nice to kind of playing this.
Stay off the ground.
On a like more modern set of hardware.
You ugly son of a
I know I'm probably yelling. That's because the audio is playing in my ear. For this game, even at 1080p, 150-ish frames a second, you know, we got most of it in that range. If not, it drops down to like
Thanks,
140,
old guy.
130.
Okay,
still,
finally, I can go home.
Super playable. This game, though, still really colorful.
No shit.
Really nice in today's day and age. So Sunset Overdrive on the 7600XT.
I'm all discombobulated. Home is the other way.
Fine. This was a game I specifically bought on PC, just because I didn't want to buy an Xbox just to do it. And apparently, I wasn't following the way I was supposed to go.
Old guy. Okay, finally, I can go home.
That being said, super
No shit.
impressed by just how this looks. This game is obviously, it's almost a 10-year-old game, if not that. This game is going to be a 7600XT, so it's not like I was doing this as a stress test. I just kind of wanted to see.
I'm all discombobulated.
Alright, so next up, of course, we're going to be playing some Fortnite. We have unlimited frame rate set. It is going to go 1080 by 1080 16 by 9. I've never been super great at Fortnite, so let's check this out. Let's go into the game and let's play. Alright guys, so I just landed. I'm not really sure how to play Fortnite. Maybe that's just a sign of my age, but we are getting a nice around 70 to 80 frames a second. I don't know if the game's loading anything in, because that does seem kind of low. I wonder if I can push this a little bit. Let's see. If I go into settings, if I change the frame rate to say 165, which is the refresh rate of my monitor. Let's see how it tries to push this, if it does. Huh. It looks like we're still getting around 74, 75 frames a second. But all in all, this is very smooth. I'm shocked that it's actually saying it's that much. The picture looks wonderful, though. I know this is like a super graphically game. Ah, they got me. Well, like I mentioned, Fortnite has never been my forte, per se. So we're just going to leave it at that before I embarrass myself more playing this. Next up, we're going to hit Counter-Strike 2. I've put this at 1080, refresh rate of 165. Advanced video, is there anything? Maximum FPS, we can kind of unlimit that in a way. Dynamic shadows, current preset high. Let's try to go to very high. And let's see how good we can do in here. You know, a lot of this is just testing for me. Not that I particularly would push the game that far if it's, you know, going to be a problem. Does it save it? Cool. So let's go and try to play. I guess I got to do a training day session first. That's fine, because that should be enough to kind of show what we need to get in this. This looks nice. Open the buy menu. How do I close the buy menu? Okay, so in Counter-Strike 2, I mean, we're hitting 190 frames a second, 187, going up to 242 here, 229. This game runs particularly well on this system, I can tell. You know, frame rate's up in 200, that's the best we've seen so far. This definitely isn't a graphically intense game by any means. I haven't played Counter-Strike in forever. I think I've only dabbled with Counter-Strike 2 before. Last thing I think I played was Counter-Strike 1 or CSGO, but this map actually looks very familiar, so it might have been Counter-Strike 2. How long this game's been out. Oh look, we won that round. I didn't even do anything. Alright, let's try to do one more round. Can we just auto-buy all? See if I can get a kill or something. 2, 1.
This is our fight.
The mouse sensitivity in this I definitely have to adjust because it's definitely not sensitive enough. Oh, I died. That seems to be like the story of my life with these FPSs. But Counter-Strike, again, you can get frame rates up into close to 200s on like very high settings. I'm all for that. That was a cool experience. I'll probably go back and play this because this game actually looks very nice with everything. Now the next game I thought to try here was everyone's favorite love simulator. I Love You, Colonel Sanders. A finger-looking good dating simulator. That's right, I wanted to test this one out because, well, you know, we've been playing all these FPSs. I think it was time to make things a little more lighthearted, right? A little more romantic. And many of you may be wondering, what the hell is I Love You, Colonel Sanders? Well, it's exactly what it sounds like. I started this a couple years ago. Let's see. Or maybe I didn't. Did my save file never come over? I am here admitting that I did play this at one point. Let's start this. Let's see the FPS we get for this. Now, this is a dating sim, so it's not very graphically intense, but we are getting close to 160 frames a second here. This is such an odd game. I just wanted to throw it in here for the hell of it, if we're being honest. Because if you love KFC and if you like dating sims, well, this may be the game for you. But for right now, no. Now the last game I wanted to try out was Hellblade: Senua's Sacrifice. I think the sequel of this just came out recently. But we are going to try to play this on very high presets. FSR set to balance, just to kind of see if it does give us any little boost. We're going to confirm the settings change. I want to just, you know, show the beginning of this game, because when I tried playing this a little while ago, it was a very pretty game. Now here in this cutscene, we're getting a good 165 frames a second, 166.
Hello.
And I can tell you guys straight up, when I was playing this with my old RX 580, this scene looked rough.
Welcome.
Same monitor and everything.
You're safe.
So I can't even say the monitor's nice, you know, but the graphics card and the CPU definitely make the world of a difference, it looks like, with this game.
Let me tell you about Senua. Her story has already come to an end, but now it begins anew.
Just that water detail looks amazing.
What's happening? It's breathing.
This game is from 2021, so it is a little bit older.
She's getting closer. He can feel her coming closer. She's getting closer. They're watching. They're watching. They're watching.
This is a journey deep into darkness. There will be no more stories after this one.
What is she doing? Why is she doing this? They're watching. Why doesn't she turn coming? She's doing this for him. She wants to rescue him. He's already done. Feel you coming. Quiet.
Oh, how rude of me. I never told you of the others. You hear them too, right? They've been around. Look around and you will see them. The drowned, the sick, the slain. Here they lie, rotting in the fields and rivers of hell. But the dead don't always lie still here. This is not a place of rest.
Can't do this. Go back. Go back. They're going to do that to you. Can you see them? Can you see them? They're going to do that to you. They're watching. Stop. Can you feel them watching? They're watching her. They're watching her. You're so close to the darkness. Go back. Can you feel it?
Now, all in all, because this is a very long cutscene,
What is she
but it
thinking?
looks like it's done within like real-time engine. I am very impressed. This
She's
is
afraid.
maintained 165
Wouldn't you be?
frames a second. So we're gonna
You'd think she would get used to
end
it
that
by now
here.
after so many years.
and basically give my final thoughts of the performance I've seen with this PC. So, with that being said, what are my final thoughts about this new PC I built? Well, my first thought, if we're going to be honest, is it works, so I did that right. Some of the benchmarks that I did with these games were a little interesting to me, but I am very happy with them altogether. Now, I understand that I threw in there a mix of some more modern games and some older games like Sunset Overdrive, Hellblade, which is at this point, you know, a 3-year-old game, and everyone's favorite dating simulator, I Love You, Colonel Sanders, as well as, you know, some more modern games like Fortnite and Halo. And I say Halo is more recent, even though it's the same age as Hellblade at this point, but that's besides the fact. To see such high frame rates in the games that I feel like I'm going to be playing is nice with this graphics card, with this processor. The only weird thing that I noticed was that Fortnite was only hitting like 70, 80 frames a second, but from like moving around and playing it, it kind of seems like it was more. Now, whether or not the AMD FPS counter is mistaken with Fortnite, I don't know, but I will be taking it into consideration, and that was the only game that really struggled, and not even struggled, that just wasn't hitting the FPS that I thought it was going to on this rig. With that being said, I'm happy how it came out. I'm going to be editing this video in DaVinci Resolve for upload using the new computer just to see how the rendering capabilities are as well. What did you guys think of the video? Did you think I was going to fail with this? Did you think it was going to all go downhill? Because at multiple points while recording this, I know I felt the doubt in my voice as I was trying to do the walkthrough with the motherboard, but not really any issues. I was up late last night installing all the drivers. Every time I kept trying to install the 7600XT graphics driver, Windows Update kept killing that install and saying that, you know, it was taking priority basically, so I had to wait for Windows Update to finally update everything so I could do it. But this PC is snappy. One thing I've noticed is just how much more this processor could do compared to my old i7 7700 HQ in terms of just like multi-process performance, because of downloading these games last night and copying over one of my old hard disks that has all my music and all on it, that it was able to do that with only hitting like 35% CPU usage was crazy, because that old i7 comparatively to this Ryzen 7 7700X would have been at like 99%. This was just chilling like it was no work at all. The 32 gigs of RAM I think are definitely helping, and also just that 16 gig graphics card. I know some people, I said in the beginning of the video, really hate on that card, but the upgrade path that I took from the RX 580 to this, I think is honestly, in my own opinion, for that $300 price tag of the card, fantastic. Overall, I believe this build cost me like less than $1,200, which I know isn't necessarily a budget build, but I did save up for a little while to be able to just build something fresh myself, but not also want to pay the astronomical prices that a pre-built could go for. So, as a regular dude building a computer, leave your thoughts down in the comment section below. As always, thank you for watching, guys. Like, share, and subscribe. If you want to see more videos like this, let me know. Until next time, I will catch you later. See ya. Bye.